Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Solutions IRB training on PI qualifications. The question that we're trying to answer here is what qualifies a principal investigator to lead a study? It's very much something that's fluid, and it depends upon the type of study that is being conducted. So, for example, very different qualifications to do, say, an evaluation in an educational setting versus doing a drug trial, of course. But we don't just look at the PI qualifications. Overall, in the study team, what we're looking for are the necessary skills so that the team, together with the PI, can competently conduct the research that's being proposed. And being competent to do this is done through a combination of education, training, and experience. Keeping in mind that for some studies, there are also specific legal requirements that we must follow. Again, to highlight, qualifications that we're looking for depend upon the study population type and the general field in which the research nests itself. So with the exempt study, you may have a PI that only needs general knowledge of the study area and some research evaluation experience. And again, we're not looking for, say, a specific master's degree in a specific area. A lot of times, individuals with many years conducting evaluations have excellent qualifications to do these studies. For a full board clinical study and other clinical studies, we often require a medical doctor or another person qualified by degree. So an individual with DNP, a degreed nurse, RN, a dentist, again, depending on what the study is looking at. Luckily, the PI doesn't need to have all of the skills necessary to conduct the research. So we don't expect, say, a medical doctor to also be really great at statistics. They can be, but they don't have to be. And that's why it's really important to have a good research team or even a co-I behind the PI in the study. So the PI, along with the research team, need to be appropriately well versed in all necessary aspects of the conduct of the study. This includes, the research design, how to put together a good study, somebody who has the skills to do interviewing or focus groups, if that's part of the study, knowledge of appropriate instruments. So, for example, if they're administering the MMPI or the Myers-Briggs, that requires specialized knowledge. In our clinical studies, we need to see the clinical knowledge to collect data, and that may be, having the MD over the study. But if there are going to be blood draws, we need someone that's appropriately qualified to be doing blood draws at sites. We also look for statistical skills and skills in data analysis. So again, I might be really good at statistics, but I may not have the skills to do qualitative data analysis. Very different areas. And we never assume that just because somebody has a research degree that they can be all things in all studies. And of course, someone who has the organizational skills to keep the study running smoothly. When we're talking about education training experience, again, it depends on what's going on in the study. We look for the terminal degrees when they are in the field of study. So, PhDs, MDs, DNPs, but a terminal degree doesn't necessarily mean that the person is qualified to be the PI and head up that research team. So you can have a PhD in psychology, which qualifies you to do research in psychology, but you can also have a PhD in philosophy, and that person, certainly by degree, is not qualified to conduct psychological research. When we're dealing with clinical studies, always mindful of scope of practice, which can vary by state, especially for DNPs and RNs. And it doesn't have to just be a degree that qualifies you. Training helps a lot. So if focus groups are involved in the research, someone that has had focus group training outside of a degreed setting, or if it wasn't a degreed setting, maybe sending us the transcript and highlighting those courses that dealt specifically with, interviewing skills, qualitative data analysis skills. There are a variety of clinical areas. So if the person is an MD and they've specialized their entire career in cardiology, but they're the MD over an orthopedic study, we're going to want to dig into that a little bit more. Because this individual is highly qualified generally to do research in cardiology, but do they have the background to do the research in orthopedics? For some instruments, I mentioned the Myers-Briggs type indicator here. Special training is required to even be able to administer them. So unless you've taken the training, you can't use that instrument in the research. And then, of course, experience. Individuals who have been conducting research for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, that carries a lot of weight with us. If you've done many studies, then you're generally fairly well versed in the conduct of studies. So then we'll look at, well, is this the same type of study, or is this, are we branching out into a new area here? There are some specific legal requirements, and this generally revolves around clinical studies, which need to be within the scope of the PI. So in these cases, we're requiring a medical doctor, a dentist might be required, a DNP registered nurse, again, depending on the area in which the study is taking place. Not only do we look at qualifications for PI and study personnel for new studies, but anytime an amendment is submitted that deals with personnel, and this is especially the case if it's going to be the replacement of the principal investigator with another individual, we want to know why that person is qualified to do what they're being put on the study to do. So if I had an MD on the study and suddenly they're going to be replaced with somebody with a bachelor's degree, that's a problem. And that would need a lot of explanation. And generally, that new person would not be qualified. So we always want to know, well, what are you doing and how are you qualified to do what you're going to do on the study? And the way that the study team and the PI show this is through their CV. So we want to see that the qualifications to be the PI or to be the qualitative data analyst or the statistician, that those are very clearly highlighted in the CV. All study personnel need to have human subjects training, except in some instances where, for example, your statistician is only dealing with the identified data. On clinical studies, individuals may need a good clinical practice and HIPAA depending on the study. We want to see copies of valid healthcare licenses, valid in the state in which the research is being conducted. And then finally, if there are specific trainings that have been taken that qualify the person, those should be on the CV as well. As always, if you have any questions, please reach out to us at reviews@solutionsirb.com or phone us at 226-4472. Thanks. Have a great day.